Another day, another accolade for Brookings. It's no joke. The I-29 town routinely makes the best of lists and is adding the #1 place to live in South Dakota. The ranking comes from a website that uses data to rank towns and school districts to help people find where they want to live. So what makes the town a destination for families, college students, young professionals, and businesses? On tonight's Eye on Kellerland, Brady Mallory asked people who live there to share the secret of Brookings' success.
Four walls are worth a lot of memories.
I live in the house I was born in.
Van Fishback didn't just stay inside.
You would find me, for the most part, in the pasture behind our house, playing baseball with the neighbor kids.
This majestic white house has seen a lot come and go, including Fishback.
You can imagine what kind of a house that was in 1900 when it was first built.
After leaving to seek a few degrees, he found himself back here. Now, as the color of his hair begins to match the coats of paint on his trusty old house, he understands why Brookings is tough to beat.
It has to do with the kind of the DNA, the culture that people are kind of coming together and willing to reinvest back into the community rather than simply work on their balance sheet and then move on.
The third-generation banker and vice chairman of Fishback Financial Corporation knows a thing or two about returns. His years of giving back to the community and investing in the city's growth and development seem to be paying off.
Somebody comes back after 5 or 10 or 20 years and they say, my, hasn't Brookings changed?
New manufacturing companies, medical expansions, innovation, parks and schools are sources of pride in the community. In the last few years, you'll find Brookings on the list for best college town, best small town, best city in South Dakota, and best place for entrepreneurs. City Council member Nick Wendell says there's a good reason for all of this continued growth.
It hasn't happened by accident. Generations, long before me, started to plant the seeds of leadership that exist in Brookings now.
Everyday people working together to better the community is not only preserving history, it's allowing the city to constantly reinvent itself.
I don't know a lot of folks in Brookings that see themselves as just passive residents. They're engaged in one thing or another in the community.
We met with these 4 people who live in Brookings at a local hotspot, Cubby's Sports Bar and Grill, to ask them what they value most in the little city.
I grew up in a large city and we did have to do a lot of traveling, and so for a town this size to have the amenities that it does have really makes it very convenient for parents.
Even though this mom loves the big city feel, this mom loves the fact that her children can enjoy the small town innocence Brookings still has.
They can walk out the door, and if we need a cup of flour next door, they know that they feel comfortable to go ask the neighbor, where not other cities you're able to do that.
As for what's in store for Brookings' future, Wendell says that depends on the people and their willingness to go outside of the 4 walls they call home.
The path has been paved for us up to this point, and we just have to continue that good work.
Fishback agrees. After all, a banker knows a thing or two about worth. Trust him when he tells you memories have no value unless you invest in some new ones for someone else.
Most of the people that I deal with are willing to put their treasury and their talent forward for what they themselves will not reap, but what they'll see through their grandchildren and so on and so forth. I think that's significant.
With Eye on Kellerland, I'm Brady Mallory.
In addition to Niche naming it the #1 city in South Dakota, it also ranked the Brookings School District as #2 in the state with a noted graduation rate of 92%. And based on the numbers from the U.S. Department of Education, it also listed Brandon Valley as #1, Harrisburg came in 3rd, and Sioux Falls in 4th. We'll be right back with today's sports highlights.